Welcome to In Good Company, where relationships drive results, with your host, Lisa Kilray. In each episode, we explore how great leaders build trust, inspire teams, and turn meaningful connections into real success.
Hi, I'm Lisa Kilray, host of In Good Company, where relationships drive results. Today's episode is sponsored by WSI. We help manufacturers and B2B distributors and organizations build the strategic foundation they need for AI-driven growth. Our work spans digital strategy, SEO, content development, and multi-channel programs designed to drive measurable results. A client recently told us, who we've worked with for several years, that they're so glad they began working with us when they did, because that allowed us to build the foundation for them that is now resulting in leads coming from throughout the world for their multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment. To learn more about WSI, visit www.wsi-manufacturing-marketing.com. In many industries, the difference between growth and stagnation comes down to how well a company understands its customers and how effectively it translates those insights into real solutions. For companies operating in competitive or commoditized markets, that often means finding ways to differentiate through innovation, customization, and experience. That process requires not only strong execution, but also the ability to connect sales, marketing, and product development in a meaningful way. Today, I'm joined by Amy Hughes. Amy leads sales, marketing, and e-commerce at ClearBags, where she also contributes to product innovation and R&D. She brings more than 25 years of experience in brand marketing and business development with a strong focus on driving growth, building partnerships, and understanding customer behavior. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lisa.
You've spent more than 2 decades working across sales, marketing, and business development. How did your career first start?
So we'll take it all the way back to college. So I knew in college that I wanted to get into some type of broadcast media. So mostly electronic media, whether that was television or radio. And so that is what my degree is in, communications and marketing with an emphasis on electronic media. And so I started as an intern at a local radio station group that was privately owned and found my love for sales and marketing during my internship, and then was asked to come back and work with them. And that pretty much catapulted from starting as an intern into a salesperson, into a manager, and then the director of sales. So working and cross-collaborating all of those departments and helping grow our clients' businesses and ultimately our company's business, right?
Right.
So that, and then I took a pivot after 25 years in media and just really was looking for something different. I still have a love for media and advertising and all that industry entails, but I wanted to see what else was out there. What else could I do with what I had learned over those past couple of decades? And I found ClearBags, and we had conversation, and it was a really good fit. I really enjoyed what the company culture was and what their mission is and what they were doing in the world and globally. And so I was fortunate enough to join the team, and now I'm helping customers and employees and the company thrive.
That's awesome. So you've got quite a big job with all those functions falling underneath your area of responsibility. Was there a particular moment early on that shaped in your career that shaped how you think about growth and customer relationships today?
So I'm not certain there was one particular moment that stands out. It's really everything, because you have to, when you're talking with a customer or a client, listening is so important, and you can add value to them. What can I and how can I help them grow? You
Right.
become a market resource and someone that they trust very much so in helping them grow and develop their business. So, starting with them from the ground up and listening and being curious is what I found was kind of the secret sauce, for lack of a better way to say it. And
Right.
it has made those relationships throughout time really grow and solidify into not just the relationships of their business, but friendships as well.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like you're definitely a solution provider, versus just providing a product, or service to meet their short-term needs. Is that fair?
Correct. That
Yeah,
that is absolutely fair. Because you can push hard on someone, but if you're not solving what their problems are, it doesn't matter how hard you push. You're not going to gain any momentum or have any successes with that customer.
exactly. So were there any experiences in particular, even going back to your media days, that helped you develop that broader perspective?
So I think probably the best way to answer that question is I have my entire career, I've been fortunate enough to sit in roles that required cross collaboration
Hmm.
in departments. So with media, with ClearBags, the approach is very integrated. So what we're doing in sales affects marketing, affects the e-commerce, right? And then vice versa. So having realized that none of these departments really need to work in silos was huge. And I learned that very, very early on. Like the right hand has to talk to the left hand, right? So that all of
Absolutely.
these things can run as seamlessly as possible. And so with that and having that cross collaboration, transparency, honesty, we poke holes in each other's ideas. We really vet things out and have really rich and robust conversations. That has really enforces that growth focus and perspective every single day for us.
Okay. Awesome. So, I mean, I think an appropriate, I mean, you said that your role is unique because you're in sales, marketing, and e-commerce. From that vantage point, you're seeing customer behavior from multiple angles. What are you learning right now about your customers because of that unique role and perspective?
Yes, no, thank you for asking that question. So we actually see that our customers are much smarter than they used to be. They have so much information at their fingertips. They're going to research things before they ever come to us.
Yeah.
Right. So we used to be that point of contact, but with the digital age that has just given everybody um, that chance to be the expert in whatever it is, they're researching before they come to us and they're asking more strategic questions. They want to find out how they can maximize their savings through volume, buying in volume or bulk, uh, how they can stand out, hit their timelines, exceed the expectations of their actual customers, and grow their profits. So what they need most from us is just the guidance. So they've pulled the information and we just need to give them a little more information and education and guidance on it. So they're wanting that clarity and confidence that they're making the best packaging decision because there's so many things that are involved with
Yep.
packaging.
Yep.
It is not just, hey, here you go, this is the best thing. So you have to know what is the item or product that's being packaged. Are they going to hang it up? Are they going to set it on a shelf? How are they going to display this product? How heavy is the product? So you have all of these materials and barriers and hanging methods and then styles that go into that perfect package for that person and their product.
Right. Interesting. So, and I mean, on that point, in industries like packaging, it's easy to be perceived as a commodity. Where do you see the biggest disconnect between what customers think they need and what they actually need?
So with ClearBags, we actually have almost 6,000 different stock items.
Oh, wow.
So I would say the biggest disconnect for our particular customers is the breadth of solutions that we have, and the fact that we also have custom capabilities as well. So not everything is going to be an in-stock product
Or
for
off the
them.
shelf. Yeah.
Correct, off the shelf. So in some instances, they're going to need a custom product, something that's going to fit their unique product. And I think many times customers think that they have to settle again for that off the shelf product because they assume that customs is too costly or requires these massive MOQs, right? So minimum order quantities.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not actually the case in many situations. So
Okay.
that's where we come in and can be the experts and talk them through that. So we also do labels. So for those smaller businesses, when they do want just a stock product and they put their label on it, fantastic. But when they get to a point where they're really divided, like, oh, I don't know if I can do customs or not, and we talk them through it, it's more about, hey, what is your time worth and energy of taking these labels and putting them on each package versus having them custom printed on there where all you have to do is get your packaging and then fill it.
Right.
So when we have those conversations and dig a little deeper into the business part of the conversation with our customers, they're more at ease and they're like, oh yeah, I should totally do customs because that's going to save me the time, energy, and effort. And wow, it looks so professional, and every bag, box, or pouch are the same. Instead of with a label, it might be a little off or what, as you're just labeling. So yes, it's just that conversation with them and guiding them on what is the best for their product.
That's where your solution provider expertise comes in, because you can potentially make things much more efficient for them, quicker, and probably less expensive,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's a custom solution. That's awesome.
Correct. You are 100% correct. And I think that's something that we identified as a weakness in ClearBags is we've had customs for years, but most people know us as the company that has almost 6,000 different in-stock products, and they
Right.
don't instantly think that we can do customs. So we're actually looking inside our business. How can we do a better job of branding our and marketing the fact that we have this custom capability as well?
Right. So my next question, you've touched on it a little bit, but I'd like to expand on it a bit because you talked about how customer behavior has evolved and how buyers are much more educated because of the digital revolution, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
How has this impacted your e-commerce business? I mean, not just with Google and the internet, but with the LLMs, ChatGPT, all of that. Can you dig a little bit into that?
So we actually embrace AI, and we have been doing a lot of digital throughout because we've always been an e-commerce company.
Yep.
So we actually hired a director of AI within our company to help us be more innovative on that and more on the cutting edge, because we know it's not going away. We know that customers want the need for speed. So there are days of going in and typing short keyword-based searches to get that information back. They're wanting instant, direct answers to very complex packaging questions. So they don't want just a list of links. They want, this is what I want. I need the answer so that I can keep moving, right? And I believe that need for speed, sometimes we have to pump the brakes on our end because packaging is, there's so many different parts of it that if we just allowed right now, and we know AI is ever changing all the time daily. And so
Yep.
we will get there, or AI will get there, right? So as we're feeding it and making sure we're working with it, and making sure that ClearBags is in the forefront when people are doing those searches, we also don't want it to give the wrong information, because we know that you trust but verify, right?
Yep.
And so if, for instance, if someone needed to package 5x7 cards, so they would go to our site, they would, type in the search bar that they want to package 5x7 cards. Well, what AI would not take into account at this current time is the depth. So maybe if they're putting one card in, it would work really well. If they're putting 5 or 10 in, they're going to need some space, because it's going to make the depth go up. So if you just order a 5x7, that customer is going to get really angry, because that's not actually what they needed for their product, because they can now only fit one card in instead of a package of 5 or 10. So there's still those nuances that we're trying to work out, and we want to be very proactive instead of reactive. And so it's we would direct people to the site and then actually have a conversation with them so that they get the best product. And that was just one. I mean, it could be something for food. They might need some certain barriers for their food product that they're putting in, and AI might not know that, because the prompt that they give them might not include that. But in a conversation where we're being curious and we're asking those questions, we can then identify, oh yes, that would work, but this is actually what you need over here that's going to work the best for you. So they're not wasting that time and ordering something that they're not happy with, that they're going to want to return, and then they're turned off by, ClearBags, like, oh, they don't have what we need, when in all actuality, we certainly have what they need.
Right. Yeah, you can pretty much do anything with your custom solution. So, I mean, I'm assuming that there's some level of check in your sales process, even if people are ordering online, where you're reaching out and confirming, and you're catching this stuff before you're in production with the wrong product.
Yes, absolutely. So every order that comes in on our website or through our e-commerce site, we have a physical person called a customer service representative that looks at that to make sure, like, okay, this is that, and this is where it's going, and is everything correct, so that, again, there's not those delays from just the autofill or an AI, filling up that information. Or when they come into the chat, we have a live person manning the chat as well. So it starts with that AI agent, but we have that real body behind it, so that if it goes so far, then they can jump in and take over and get a little more down in the details.
Right. So just kind of taking a step back, I probably should have asked you this sooner, kind of done the intro, because you've been talking about ClearBags, what you do, your differentiators. But many listeners may not be familiar with your company. How would you describe exactly what you do for our listeners today?
Excellent. I love this question so much, because ClearBags is a family-owned business. We are second generation family. We're the world's greatest flexible packaging leader, and we help businesses grow by providing that perfect packaging solution. Today is our 34th birthday.
Oh,
so we started in
happy birthday.
Yes, yes, yes. We started in 1992.
Okay.
And actually started as a poster company. So when we were packaging these posters and sending them out, we had them in clear bags. the bags were selling themselves. People were calling in asking how they could get these crystal clear bags that the posters were being packaged in. And so, hello, we saw the gap and the need there. It was just smacked us in the face, right? And we made the pivot to become a packaging industry. And the first one was our crystal clear bags. So we moved from poster to bags. And then from that point, just working with our customers, which has always been the foundation of our business, listening to what their needs are, and what they just want. It's not necessarily their needs, but what do they want? What do they want to see, as far as packaging? Because we listen and work so closely with our customers, that's why we have almost 6,000 different products. So it started with bags, then we moved into boxes, pouches, shape pouches, seasonal. We have environmentally friendly line. And so we have a warehouse in West Tennessee and one in North Las Vegas, Nevada. So we serve East Coast, West Coast. We also have global partners as well. So it's not just in the States. So we have people that buy from us in several different countries. So we are just here to serve whatever packaging need in all of the industries. So if you think about it, packaging, everyone needs packaging.
Right. Yeah. So that's really impressive. 34 years, and you went from a poster provider to coming up with this awesome product that has such broad appeal. I mean, I vaguely remember 1992, and I do know the internet wasn't around there then, so there was no e-commerce. There was really no email going on. There was no search engine optimization. Kind of talk a little bit about that evolution of how did you, embrace the digital revolution and get to where you're at now?
So you are exactly right. So it started obviously as everything else, word of mouth, direct mail, magazine articles, so print articles, radio ads, publications. Yes. So all of the kind of the guerrilla marketing grassroots that we had in the 90s. And of course, and so we were handwriting orders. We would go to trade shows, lots of trade shows, any way to be customer facing and have those direct conversations with people that were looking or had a need for packaging. And so just through all of those different outlets, we were able to gain quite the following. And then those people told other people, and then it just kind of spider webbed out from that point. And once the digital evolution came about, we started a very, I would say, generic website like everyone else, and just built it over time. And now we have an entire e-commerce department. A lot of people were wearing a lot of hats early on because we were a small business. It started with 2 people, then 3, and then it continued to grow. And we're right at a little over 100 employees now. And so with our e-commerce department, our e-commerce leader is fantastic. And she constantly is watching the new research and making sure that customer journey is such that there's as least customer friction as we can possibly have on the site, from the moment they land on our site all the way through when they purchase and they're out of their cart, and then they get their contract confirmation of their order, or their order confirmation. And so it's one of those things that we just continue to make the tweaks and adjustments. It's certainly not a set it and forget it department at all, because you are constantly, it's almost as if once you get one thing running like a well-oiled machine, you've got to come back and fine tune some things on it. And then again and again and again, because people's buying habits change all of the time. So
And
we have to
technology changes all the
continue
time.
to evolve with that. Yes, correct. The algorithms do change all the time. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we are doing is we're we added, at first we had just images on the site, then we added the layer of video. How do you use this package? How do you open it? What do you do? What are the features, like features and benefits? Then more of the lifestyle pictures, because people wanted to see, like, okay, yes, okay, I see the bag and stuff, so what could I use it for? So we gave them ideas, and we would start putting different packaging elements or products into our bags so people could see, and then hopefully that created and generated more creativity for them to go, oh, I never thought about using that for this. Oh, I bet I could use it for this and this and this and this. And then those conversations just grow from there.
Right. That's awesome. So how long have you been at ClearBags, Amy?
I have been with ClearBags 3.5 years now.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've been there for the AI explosion, because that's about the time frame of ChatGPT and the LLMs,
Yes,
and so that's
that is
exciting.
correct. Yes, it's a very exciting, and our ownership really embraces AI, and everyone in the company, we had a little bit of a directive that everyone needs to use AI. How can you be more effective and efficient in your particular role by utilizing AI? And so we had these conversations, top to bottom, bottom to top, and how people could use that so that people weren't scared of it. Think about when the internet came out, people were like, oh, okay, yeah, this isn't going to last or whatever. And now look, or Google. And so same thing with all the AI engines that are out there. We just want to make sure people are informed and educated about it. And so that's why we decided to go ahead and hire a director of AI. And he
Yeah.
is constantly teaching us. I mean, he is in the thick of it, learning all the research and the things that we can do, but also kind of soft paddling into it, because that is coming at him, all of that information, 90 miles an hour, right? And he wants to make sure he takes that, processes it, and then gives us the best way to use it and the best method to help within ClearBags, because not all things would work well for our company.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like with anything, there's a right way and a wrong way to use it. And there need to be guardrails and, SOPs on how to incorporate this in your day-to-day work, because it can backfire. And also being on the
yes,
cutting edge, is a good thing a lot of the time. But sometimes you can't move too quickly with this stuff because it's changing. It's either getting
correct,
better or it's changing significantly. So sometimes in certain situations with AI and technology, you need to kind of take a deep breath and just be like, I'm going to give this a little bit of time, see what happens, um, and
correct.
and then move forward.
That's
So,
exactly his approach. You nailed it. He has it, he gathers it, he tests it, he sees, and then he watches, waits and
right.
watches. So there is definitely power in the pause.
Right, exactly. When things are changing and evolving, getting better so quickly. So,
Yes.
one of the themes of this show, Amy, is the role of relationships that it plays in business success. Throughout your career, how important have relationships been in shaping your path?
Lisa, they are everything. Relationships are really the foundation, the bedrock of my career. And I believe in businesses, relationships can make or break you. So I really feel like that is a strength of mine, is building those customer relationships through networking, through going to, I'm a yes person when it comes to learning, going to a networking event, attending a conference, having a podcast, giving a speech, because it's just another connection point for me with customers, with potential customers, with people who don't even know me or ClearBags. And I want to make sure that I do everything. So I think being a good steward of of the company that I work for, as well as the customer, is very, very important. And also just when you create those relationships and those networking, you can also be the connector of other people too that are outside of your business. Like, oh my goodness, I heard that so and so needs such and such, and they do that. So I'm going to connect those two people.
Mhm.
So even if it doesn't directly affect me or our ClearBags, it's bringing other people together, and they remember that. And then you get referrals from that. And so your
Yep.
reputation really exceeds you with that, because people see you as a solution driven person and a
Mhm.
connector. And that's really more of that foundation for me. I want to be a resource for that customer or client. I want them to see not just me, but even my teams. I want them to see all of us as people that are there to help them grow in whatever capacity it is. Even
Right.
if it has nothing to do with packaging and they're just having a business conversation with us and they're telling us things. Wow, well, because I went to this event that I really didn't want to go to, I was really tired that evening or whatever, but I went to it anyway. I that person that I met at that event, wow, they could probably help you. I know someone, I know a guy, right?
Yep.
And then you connect to those people, and it just becomes this, tangled web that we weave that is really good in growth.
Right. Absolutely. And on
Yeah.
that note, when we're done, I want to connect you with one of my very first guests on In Good Company, Dan Letourneau. He is the president of Peoria Production Solutions, and they have a company that is very mission driven. It's a nonprofit, and they have a large component of their employee base where they're disabled. They have disabilities of some sort, but they are a
Mhm.
contract manufacturing for packaging. They do fulfillment, kitting, all kinds of stuff. So
I
a
love
lot of
that.
your customers probably need somebody to do their assembly using your bags and your pouches, and their
Yep.
product. Sometimes they get overloaded, and just don't have the internal capabilities, and they're looking for somebody to do part of it. I mean, sometimes they have people who want the labeling done, where in your case,
Correct.
you may eliminate the label if you do a personalized bag. But there might be some synergies there. So I'm gonna introduce you to Dan, because I definitely think that there may be some opportunities for you. Um,
I love that, because we
yeah,
do, to your point, have a handful of customers that will ask if we do any fulfillment, and we do not
yep,
do fulfillment at this time. And so to have that in my tool belt to be able to say, hey, I've got someone, let me
right,
pass this on and see if
absolutely.
that's a good fit with them. I can only be the connector.
Oh,
They have to
absolutely.
determine if it's a good fit with anything,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
only introduce and connect, but then they have to take and
Right.
run with it
Right. And I
after
know
that.
that they in particular can't do pharmaceuticals. They can't do open food products. They can't take a 50-pound bag of coffee and
Got
separate it
it.
into
Yeah.
pouches. So, there are restrictions with every fulfillment house and what they're able to do from a capability or legal perspective. So we'll continue this conversation offline. But I love your philosophy, because I have
Yes.
the same one.
Excellent.
Let's be connectors, of all good things. So, Amy,
Yes.
this has been an awesome conversation. I've really enjoyed it. I love your perspective, the innovation of your company and you, and obviously consequently the growth that you've experienced over the years. So before we wrap up, where is the best place for listeners to learn more about ClearBags or to connect with you personally?
So please go onto our website to learn more about ClearBags. It's www.clearbags is one word.com. You can also follow us on any of the social channels. Our handles are clearbags.com on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and
TikTok?
X. We're on X and
Twitter.
Pinterest.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Got it. Oh, you got it covered. So,
Yes.
and where can our listeners connect with you? LinkedIn?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Amy Goodman Hughes on LinkedIn, or you can also email me directly at ahughes, and that's AHUGHES at clearbags.com.
Awesome. We will include those links and that information in the show notes. I always like to close each episode with one reflective question. When you look back on your career, Amy, who is one person who really had a lasting impact on how you approach leadership in business today? And what did you learn from them?
Yes, I've been asked this question many times, and it always comes back to my parents. My parents always pushed me to believe in myself, and you can do anything you set your mind to. And that was really the foundation. And then the house was built on that foundation with all of the situations I've been in through all the different career paths that I've taken and companies that I've worked with. So different colleagues, different mentors, passer buyers in my life have all helped to shape and mold me. But I think the base and the core for me is just making sure that I do what I say I'm going to do. I'm very proactive versus reactive, and just believe in myself. I am going to get out of a situation what I put into it. So it's my job to put my all into it so that I can get the best out of it.
That's awesome. That's a great philosophy in life in general, professionally and personally. I love that. So if there's one takeaway from today's conversation, it's this. In competitive markets, growth doesn't come from simply offering a product. It comes from truly understanding customer needs and translating those insights into meaningful solutions. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today. And to our listeners, thank you for spending time with us. I look forward to being in good company with you again next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to In Good Company, where relationships drive results, with Lisa Kilray. Be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay connected and keep building relationships that drive results.